Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see you all. I am Phelan Fairchild. I am your host today for the Phoenix Hour. Sitting here with me is Project Manager Jessica Line. Hello, Jessica.
Oh, hi there.
So good to have you with us today. As many of you know, across the world we are celebrating various holidays. This is the season of giving. And I'll let you sort of take that however you want that. However, the Phoenix is no exception. There are certainly some surprises in store for you with regards to the Phoenix viewer. And today, Jessica will be talking about what we have in store for us with regards to the next update. Miss Jessica Lyon, are you there?
I'm here. Hopefully I can stay here. It seems that Second
Yay.
Life is also giving us problems for Christmas, but we'll see if we can do our best here. So yeah, today's office hour is about our upcoming release, and our upcoming release is scheduled for Friday. And this is by far going to be our flagship viewer release out of all of the ones that we've ever done. And I want to go over some things today with you guys with some of the new features that you're going to have in this release. So I guess I'll get started. Before I do, I'm going to do something a little bit differently today. Rather than trying to copy paste links, we are doing video tutorials now, and if that kicks in and the there we go. I thought that might help. For those of you that are on the stream, you'll be able to see the sign with the URL, and right now there is only one video on there, but by Friday I will have a couple videos up which will cover some of the things that we're going to cover today, in fact, to try to alleviate some of the confusion and alleviate some of the stress on the support team. So this is our tutorial YouTube page, youtube.com/user/PhoenixViewerSL. Phoenix Viewer was taken. I don't know by who. And so I have right now a tutorial up on display names in the Phoenix Viewer. And you guys can watch that when you get a chance. And you'll get an idea of what you need to do to get when you do get the release on Friday. I plan to be doing a tutorial for multi-attachments. Migration from secondary attachments, and how to create outfit links. I will also be doing a video on the new parcel wind light settings and altitude zone settings, which we're going to talk about today, in fact. So let me get rid of the sign now because it's very silly.
I quite liked it.
It's kind of funny. I have more. You'll see, I have more. Because some of the instruction today is, of course it's not detaching, there we go. Some of the instruction today is going to be easier for me to display it in a sign than it is to say it in voice, and this way you guys will get a better idea of what needs to go, what you got to do. So, let's see, we have so much stuff in this release, and so many bug fixes, it's crazy. And we've had 4 betas now. We're in the process of doing a 4th beta to make sure that this is, the absolute best we can possibly put out there. And we have a changelog, which we haven't told anybody about yet, and partially because it's not entirely complete. Let me just find it and wear that sign. And there it is. Come on, animation, kick in. It's going to kick in any minute now. A little bit of lag. Okay, maybe it's not going to kick in. Oh, there we go. Okay.
There it goes.
This worked better when I practiced. So you guys can go to that. You guys can go to that wiki, and you're going to see some of the features that we have up there. It's not entirely complete yet. We still have quite a bit more stuff to add, believe it or not. And you'll get a chance. I'd suggest have a read after the office hour, because there's quite a bit there, and I want to cover some of the most, what we think will be the most popular features.
Absolutely. You know, and Jessica, just as an aside, briefly, I'd like to say if anybody in the audience has any special, Photoshop skills and they'd like to take a photograph of Jessica in this very vulnerable position right now, and then sort of shop out the URL and put whatever you'd like Jessica Lyon to be saying today, please do feel free.
Oh dear, I never thought of that. Oh, that's bad. You just gave them bad ideas now. That's going to be terrible.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay, so I've detached that, and I'm waiting for my AO to kick back in here. Okay, there we go. Right, so let's touch base with our wind light stuff. We are going to be the first viewer to have this, and it's fantastic, in my opinion. It is done with a little bit of hackery, because it's about the only way we can do it without having server access. So in this feature, we're going to have parcel-based wind light settings. Let me get you a documentation. Yes, another sign.
Oh my gosh.
Whistles.
Photo opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. She's
yeah, another
getting ready
photo
to attach
opportunity. Here we go.
Yep.
Here comes another sign. If the sim will allow it to attach. And while we're waiting for that to attach, I'll tell you a little bit about it. So you can now, if you're a parcel owner, can set wind light settings for your visitors to see when they visit your parcel. Providing that they're on this release, of course, they have to be on the updated release. And so this is the big text there is the main link, and there's two links just below that are also on that page. And basically they explain what the wind light settings that you can use that will work. And I'll get a little bit more into detail about that. So I'll detach this sign, and I have yet another one. And this is an example of how it's going to work. Wind light parcel example, double click where, and hope that it wears and replaces. There we go. Right, so this goes in your parcel description. It has to be at the end of your parcel description. And basically you append / wind light sky : and then a quotation mark and the name of the preset. You have to use presets. I'm afraid, although you can use your own custom settings, users won't be able to see them unless they also have that custom setting. So the way we're doing this is basically existing presets that get shipped with the viewer. So optionally, you can leave out the word wind light. This has to go at the end of the parcel description with nothing after it. You can also just do sky or just water. You don't need to do both. You can just have one or the other if you don't want to change your water settings. And it's important to note that visitors have to also have wind light presets that you have. Or that you've set. Phoenix comes with over 400 sky and water presets that you can use. If you want to create your own wind light presets, you can using wind light note cards, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. But your visitors must, to see the presets as well, you'll need to give them, so if you make a custom wind light preset, you have to give them the note card that contains that. They'll need to click it to enable it. And then they will need to relog to have it stored into their presets. So this feature is really best suited by using presets that come with the viewer. In the next release, we will also provide you the ability to download new wind light presets that people submit. So if you guys want to make your own custom presets and you want to have them shipped with the viewer, you can submit them to us, and we will we will add it to the viewer, and users will be able to go to a page, kind of like the skin downloads, be able to go to the page and download the new wind lights from everybody else. So this will make a significant database of wind light presets.
It's absolutely amazing. I'm excited about this. So this means we've taken it actually, and thank you all for the photographs. Thank you very much. I will make good use of those later on.
Are you serious? People are taking it.
So actually we're going to be able to share environments now, and not in the way that we used to with having to share presets, but as long as we have the same preset, we can experience the same environment as it's set on the parcel.
Exactly. So when your visitors come, and I'll explain how it's going to work for the visitors as well, because there's quite a bit to that, and that's why I wanted to touch base on this. We're also giving you the ability to do altitude-based wind light settings, not just in the parcel, but if you have a skybox and you would like to have a wind light setting that is different from what is on the ground, for example, you can do that. And this is going to be really popular. So wind light zoned settings, you configure this way, and I'll just wait for this animation to kick in. There we go. And so you put sky at 500 meters. So in this example, the sky between 500 meters to 600 meters is going to display the TOR, which is one of Torley's wind light settings, night-moony. And that's, of course, one of the wind light settings that's shipped with the viewer. And this is just an example. Of course, that documentation page that I sent you earlier has all kinds of information. This feature, by the way, was added to the viewer by Katakoba, who happens to be here. He's not doing well right now. He's got a pretty nasty cold. But he's done a fantastic job with it. So let me detach this. And now see where I am in my notes here so I don't lose track here. Okay, so the viewer waits for you to be in the parcel with the preset wind light settings for 5 seconds. So if somebody has their parcel set up with a wind light preset, you'll be in there for 5 seconds before it kicks in. This is to avoid wind light getting set for people that are just flying through your parcel. Visitors will get prompted with a permission dialog at the top right of their screen to allow or deny the parcel wind light setting, depending on their preference options. If your viewer is utilizing someone's parcel wind light settings, it will be indicated at the top of your screen with a sun cloud icon next to the parcel name. You can click this and it will revert to region default and stop using the wind light or the parcel wind lights presets. So we're giving users the ability to quickly stop using that preset and revert to the region default with a click of your mouse. And of course we give you options as to if you want to see parcel-based wind light settings or not. And let me just open or wear this one here. I'll wait for that to kick in. This is just a little preview of the...
Holy crap!
The big sign. This is going to give people lots of room to type all kinds of stuff from me. Yeah, that's great.
I'm excited right now.
So this is the preference page. And first thing you'll see is the option to save wind light. So also, I forgot to mention, if you set a wind light setting yourself, irregardless of parcel, if you set your own custom wind light setting and you relog, the viewer will remember it. Providing you have this first option checked, and so you don't have to reset your wind light setting every time that you relog. Mind you, if you crash, if you set it and then you crash, it doesn't get a chance to save it, so you'll lose it in that case. But if you set your wind light to something you really like and you want to use everywhere, the viewer will now remember what your setting was when you log back in. So the next thing on here is allowing or disallowing parcel wind light settings automatically for parcels owned by friends from land that belongs to a group that you're in, and to just let it work on any parcel. So this gives you lots of freedom to, if you don't want to see wind light settings, you don't have to. You can disable it and you won't get hammered or bothered with the dialog that pops up if you have it disabled. If you want to see the parcel settings from a friend, you can enable it from a friend and then you won't get dialogued. It won't ask you because it just automatically accepts it. Okay, so this is parcel wind light settings and sky settings. And just as a side note, you can do both as far as the altitude zoned based and the parcel settings. You can do both. You can mix and match, and all that documentation is on the documentation page. And I encourage you guys to use it. I have a feeling that wind light is going to be reborn, so to speak. So next, wind light note cards. Due to time, I won't go too far. I won't go too far into wind light note cards, but I will say keep an eye on YouTube channel, as I will have a video on this before the release on Friday, hopefully. Basically, this allows you to create your own custom wind light settings and share them with friends via note cards. When you save your custom preset, it generates a special note card in your inventory, one for sky and one for water. You can then just give that to a friend who can double-click them, and it will automatically set their wind light settings to the same as yours. And when they relog, it'll add that to their presets. So this covers mostly the wind light stuff, some pretty cool stuff, and I think it's highly anticipated. What's next? Let me see. Display names. Yes, we have display names. Yay. I'm not super fantastic about display names, but I do have one. And I think a lot of people are going to like them. They can be useful for some things. And so we do have some support. And like I showed you that YouTube video shows you how to set up your display name and some of the options for them. The other thing I wanted to talk about, because I'm already past, oh my gosh, I'm already past my half hour. Multi-attachment system and how it's going to affect you. First of all, pretty much all viewers have gone to the multi-attachment system. The system allows you to, in effect, layer attachments to the same attachment points. You can have a total of 38 in all. If you choose to wear all 38 attachments to your head or your HUD, you can. This system is vastly superior to the old secondary attachments hack, which only allows users on a viewer that supports it to see your secondary attachments correctly. So to everybody else, your attachments, if you have secondaries, your attachments are floating around your avatar. They're not looking proper to anybody else. However, we have allowed for backwards compatibility, so people that don't update to this release and are still using secondary attachments will still display correctly for you on the new release. You just won't be able to use secondary attachments on this release because they're, let's just say, outdated and not very well done. So we have there's going to be a bit of a growing pain, and that is that if you have secondary attachments worn, because the viewer doesn't support them, the viewer will detach them. However, we have code in the viewer that will attempt to migrate any secondary attachments you have worn to the correct multi-attachment points with the correct rotation and position. But this code is not 100% to work every time for everybody. However, if you find your secondary attachments didn't get automatically reattached, you will find them in your inventory, right-click on them, add or wear, and they will take the correct position. So the viewer may not be able to do the reattachment automatically for you, but it will remember where they're supposed to be, which was a step up from our first beta that we did, which basically lost them and you had to right-click, attach to, and choose a place in the list and then readjust it and everything. So this pretty much takes most of that growing pain out of the way. You'll have to, wear your secondaries once, and then they'll be remembered, and anytime you click wear or add, they'll go back there again. And so you may find yourself also wearing a clothing layer or two that you weren't wearing when you logged out. This will likely be the last outfit you were wearing the last time you logged into Viewer 2. And this is another one-time growing pain. Simply find the outfit you want to wear and wear it. Providing that you remain on a viewer that has multi-attachments, which is just about all of them now. All the third-party viewers have gone this way, and of course the Linden Lab Viewer 2 has gone this way. You'll not run into this problem again, and it'll just be a one-time growing pain. I expect there to be some complaining. Support will probably get hammered by people, my attachments are gone, and well, all you have to do is right-click add or right-click wear, and it'll go back to its place. And with this new system, you will be able to create outfit links. And I'll also have a video on how to do this. I'm really low on time, so I have to go quick. Just a brief list of some other things that we've fixed. There was a lot of texture corruption on Macs. Unfortunately, Mac users will have to be on 10.5 or newer to run this release. 10.4 was the problem with the Mac texture corruption on sculpts. We've updated Vivox. We've got clickable links in group notices, client-side media player, which still has some bugs, Carl's alignment tool, Carl's grass selection features, plus many other new build floater features that you'll find. We've got some big changes to the quick settings panel in the bottom right. That little arrow at the bottom right? We've made some changes to that. It's been improved. We have support for all kinds of new video cards, some that haven't even come out yet. They're not even in stores yet, but we've got support for them, so that should solve the problem for people that have these brand new cards that keep coming up when they log in that says it's not supported. We've added support for the incoming 40 group max and 64 meter objects from Linden Lab, and so when Linden Lab rolls that out, this viewer will support that. And there's so much more. I mean, I could go on forever. You guys read the documentation and have a blast. We expect to be releasing this Friday, and I won't say what time, but it will be Friday. And that's it. Am I on time? Am I too late? Can I sit back down?
No, you're actually doing fine. So you can take a deep breath. That was really, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. You've still got time. We started 15 minutes late. So if you have anything else you'd like to add.
Oh, were we 15 minutes late? Oh, okay.
We're 15 minutes late, so you're
good.
Well on time.
On time. I still got, that gives me 10 minutes. So yeah, I mean, we've done so much work. We've had a lot of people complaining that, geez, it's taking so long. Why is it taking so long? Well, when you get the release, you'll understand. We wanted it to be perfect because after this release, we are going to the Firestorm viewer. While we will still continue to develop the Phoenix viewer, our focus will be on Firestorm. So we wanted to get as much new stuff in there as possible, get as much things that you guys wanted into the viewer, get it as stable as we possibly could, so that this will hold you guys off for a couple months while we, grind away at the Firestorm viewer, which is coming along actually quite nicely. In fact, I was considering logging in with it today. I'm kind of glad that I didn't, though. So yeah, the Winlight stuff is huge. I think everyone's going to love the Winlight stuff. And great for machinima as well, and photography and so on.
I think it's incredibly exciting because this is what the Phoenix viewer and the development team behind the Phoenix viewer has become really renowned for, and that is allotting the users more and more abilities to customize their experience, and now not just to customize their own experience, but to share it as well in a much more convenient fashion than, say, simply the sharing of settings, which can often be a pain in the neck, and, having to get all the settings right and the sliders adjusted and the numerical values proper. So this is really exciting that now we can actually experience what our friends on the Phoenix viewer are experiencing, and artists, for example, who like to create environments. More specifically, I'm thinking of artists like AM Radio who specialize literally in creating environments and immersing in them. Yeah, so now we won't have to go there and have to spend an hour adjusting things. So that's really, really forward-thinking and exciting, and I think that's really groundbreaking as well. And congratulations to the Phoenix viewer on being the first to implement this. I imagine that was a phenomenal task.
It's been a lot of work. Kat has been at it for a month almost, trying to get everything right and fix all the bugs that came with it, and that we still have more plans for it. In fact, he's talking about adding a new tab in the About Land floater at the little window there, where people can, instead of adding it to this description, the viewer will read it from this tab and add things to the tab, maybe even have a drop down to the presets in that tab. So all you have to do is literally click the drop down, choose the Winlight preset that you want to use on your parcel, and it's done. There's no writing to it. It just works. Of course, the sad thing about Winlight presets is that it only works if you're on. It only works for the people. Your visitors have to be on this release in order to see them properly. And of course, not everybody is going to upgrade. Although I don't know why they wouldn't. Anyone who doesn't upgrade is really missing out. I mean, really missing out.
You're not talking about me or anything. I'm just one of those people that are really lazy, and I don't ever.
Well, there are, and I have to admit, I'm the same way. Oh my gosh, are you kidding?
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Hello, it's awful.
That's horrible.
Awful. So I'm definitely looking forward to you. I promise you.
I update the viewer, but I don't like to update, Windows updates. They drive me nuts, and all these update things, and I just click cancel and later, and I tend to ignore them. So I understand the mentality of not wanting to update and being afraid of, there's going to be more bugs. But to be honest, this has been through our QA. This is in QA now for the 4th time, and we've been addressing, this is a good release. This is really a good release.
One thing you said really surprised me because I wasn't expecting it, and that was the implementation of usernames. Previously,
display
you
names.
indicated that, display names. Hello. Previously, you had said that we weren't likely going to see that, but we are. So hello.
We lied. Actually, it was our lead QA, Wolf Spirit Magic, who's in here somewhere. who was playing with the code and discovered that he was able to port the code into the Phoenix viewer. And so we said, well, okay then, we're going to have display names too. It actually wasn't planned. And having done so, Wolf Spirit is now officially a developer on our team as well. Good job. And
Wow.
so yeah, display names wasn't something that we had planned to do. It just kind of turned out that way. And it's kind of neat, you know. I have my own display name is basically my same name. I just have, you know, a little play with caps and stuff. And you guys will all see my display name when you get the release on Friday. One thing that you'll notice, though, different from Viewer 2 with Phoenix display names is that in group chats, things like that, you're going to see the username. We're not putting display names in group chats and so on. It is confusing, and you know, there are some issues with it that we're not too happy about. So you will see display names on avatars tags, and you will see display names in their profiles. And that's where you're going to see display names. You won't see them on your friend list. You won't see them on objects and things like that. It's display name support, we'll call it.
Sounds good to me. Jessica, are you ready to take a few questions?
Yes. Well, we'll have to do a break, I think, right? Are we doing a break?
Well, you know what? Actually, we are. We're going to have to do a break briefly.
Okay. Commercial break.
We're going to do a commercial break, and then shortly after this, we will be back with your questions regarding everything that you've heard today, everything that you've heard in every past show. So if you're thinking about something, you've got something on your mind, please feel free to send them along, and I will pass them on to Jessica here live on air. If you're offline, if you're off-site watching via the web, please feel free to submit your questions via the box that's there for you, and they will be passed along to myself or Jessica as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we will be back right after these sponsor messages.
Last year, VWE brought to you the biggest event in SL Sports Entertainment. Once a year, an event comes along so big that people remember. Setting the records, making names. It is a night of champions. A night of superstars, and a night of legends. And 1 year later, it's back. December 10th, 2010, 4 p.m. SL time. VWE brings to you Wrestle Series 2, live only on Rezzed.TV.
Welcome back to the Phoenix Hour. This is our bi-weekly hour in which we discuss the evolution of the Phoenix Viewer with the developers. And today we are here with Jessica Lane, who has just informed us that we are in for a pretty epic update today. Now, actually, Jessica, did you want to take a few questions from our audience?
Yes, absolutely. Send them in. Send us the questions.
Okay, and naturally, the people
Over
are
to you,
buzzing
Phelan.
about this. They're incredibly excited about this. So we're going to get right into it. Somebody asked, Robert Wessup says, is there going to be a Linux version?
Yes, of course. Linux.
Linux. Linux. I'll get it right.
Yeah, we have Linux, Mac, and Windows always.
Okay, so that's also, so you'll be able to get Linux for the new update as well. So despite us already, the Phoenix viewer already supporting Linux, that will apply to other platforms as well, correct? You said there were some issues with the Mac?
Well, there was some, we've had since the beginning, some problems with uploading textures on Mac, and actually primarily on Sculpts. And Tanya is our Mac dev, our Mac lead, and she's spent countless hours tracing the problem. And what it ended up being is, and I'm not a Mac person, so this is a bit Chinese to me too, GCC 10.4, which I believe is the Mac OS, was actually the problem. And so she had to compile with GCC 10.5, and that seems to have fixed the issue. Sorry, it's the compiler, and GCC is the compiler. Yeah, I knew that. Thank you, Lastro. So that's been fixed to the great relief of the Mac community. In fact, we had a lot of Mac people contact us complaining about this bug, and we, in fact, brought them into our beta team so that they could let us know if and when we actually did get it fixed. And it was with their help as well. So, yeah, the Mac texture issue has been addressed. It has been fixed.
Now, just to expound on that for a moment, one of the questions from Chrono Crystal was, is the exporting of avatar skin fixed yet?
Exporting of avatar skin? We don't allow exporting avatar skins that I'm aware of. Maybe he can elaborate?
Chrono, if you're in the audience with us, would you like to expound on that? Thank you so much for the pictures.
Yeah, I've got so many pictures sent in.
Oh, this is going to be hysterical. Chrono, are you with us? If you'd like, you can IM me and expound upon your question, and we will move right back to that. But right now, we're just going to move on. We've got a question from Palm. Now, you know what? I know that in your message to me, you said, this is how my name is pronounced. And I've probably muffed up even that. So you will have to forgive me. I'm terrible with names. Is the Winlight settings a Phoenix development that might never make it into the official SL viewers, like the attachment point thingy before?
It will land in the Linden Lab viewer, just not in our method of doing it. And that's about all I can say. I think there's a good chance that down the road Linden Lab will work towards the same goal.
Which is exciting. I mean, one thing that Linden Lab has been successful at, to a degree, is by picking up some of the really innovative ideas that third-party viewers have had in the past.
Shared Winlight is something that's been asked for since Winlight came out.
Absolutely.
And most people, and not everybody can use Winlight, you know, depending on your graphics card, not everybody can run it, but certainly I think the majority of people in SL are able to use and see Winlight settings, and it's been something that's been asked and requested to Linden Lab for, you know, since forever. And there's some things that we can't do that we'd like to be able to do, which is day cycles. That would be great. But, you know, that's kind of server-side stuff. I will say I certainly hope that Linden Lab will, in the very near future, get something out there for Winlight as well. Our method that we're using right now is a bit hacky. It works, and it's very cool, and it's a good first step. But there are better ways of doing it if you have access to the server.
Okay, so Sweet Cheeks 54, who is a return visitor, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Asked, will the new Winlight do skybox up higher than 1,500 meters?
All the way up to, well, as far as I know, whatever altitude you want. And you can set it between, so if you wanted, as long as it's, I think it's 3 meters is the minimum, so you have to have more than 3 meters in between each zone that we're calling it. And we're using the term zone as in altitude set, basically. So if you want to have it at 4,000 to 4,050, you can set that. And so when people fly up and they're on that parcel, mind you, it's still parcel based, not sim based. So providing they're on that parcel and they fly up to that altitude, their wind light setting will change when they enter that that zone. And if they go on beyond that zone, it will change back to the default again. Of course, it'll prompt them depending on their settings that they've set in preferences.
Okay, just moving on. We've got briefly some other questions. This is from somebody named PB McMillan. I just need to tell you that I love your name. It's really easy for me to say. That's adorable. PB has been a follower of the development team for some time, in even their previous incarnation, and is incredibly enthusiastic about the Phoenix Viewer and its developments, and would like to know, is there a possible way to sign up or an application available to be a beta tester on the upcoming Firestorm?
Yes, absolutely. If you want to be a beta tester, Wolf Spirit is going to kill me for this. Again, Wolf Spirit is our QA lead. And if you want to be a beta tester, send him a note card and title the note card Beta Tester Application. Inside the note card, put your information, what experience you have in beta testing, if you have any. Yes, full name, of course. And basically anything relevant you can think of that would help Wolf Spirit prioritize who is best. So one of the things that we look for in beta testers is experienced users. We do also have some inexperienced users on the team, and I think that's important because it also gives us a chance to see, when we push out a new feature, it gives us an opportunity to see how, or getting an idea of how the average person is going to react to that feature. For example, do we need more documentation? Do we need to have better hover tips for people to understand it? Do we need to explain it better? So if we get inexperienced beta testers who see a new feature and they say, well, how does this work? What does this do? Then we know we're not doing it right, and we need to add to it. But mostly we're trying to get experienced beta testers because these guys know how to find the bugs, and they know the difference between what is a bug and what is a setting, what is a server issue, a Second Life issue, and what we need to know is what are our bugs, what are the things that are affecting us in our code. And so you're all welcome, of course, to apply, but Wolf Spirit is going to find the most experienced people he can, and they'll be put in probably first.
Okay, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to stay for the duration of the show because we do have a little special announcement for you on our contest. But for right now, we're going to move on. And Lastra Greenwood, who is with us today, says, will the next version of Phoenix support higher bit rates? Because he says that it's frustrating seeing my ADSL2 plus connection go to waste. Oh, you bragger. I'm a little cable. Oh.
Your internet speed is actually limited to Linden Labs. I mean, you may have, 1,000 megabits per second connection, but Linden Labs server can only send data, so fast. And we have a pretty generous bandwidth setting in our preferences up to 5,000. And a lot of people, actually, we've had a lot of support issues with people saying, oh, I can crank this up, it'll make it faster, but it doesn't. In fact, when you crank it to 5,000, if you don't have some magical internet connection, and Linden Lab doesn't have some magical internet connection, you're going to be dropping packets and kind of running into all kinds of neat little bugs and things. The best is 500 to 1,500 for pretty much anybody. I wouldn't go any higher than 1,500. So, no, I mean, you can have, the most amazing internet in the planet, and Linden Lab can only go so fast.
Somebody needs to whip out the reins. That's all I'm going to say. So Jillian 2000, she's like the sequel to the first Jillian. I kind of like that. Jillian 2000 asks, and she'd like a little bit of clarification on this. So you're saying, do you set wind light settings in the world/environment?
You set it in your parcel description. So you have to be able to own a parcel, basically. You need to own a parcel or have group rights to that parcel to set the description in the parcel. So if you click up at the top here, at the top of your screen, and you'll see the no build, no scripts, no push, and next to it you see Rezzed.TV Island, and if you click that, that opens up the About Land floater. And in that About Land floater, I see there's no description on this parcel, but that's where you would enter the wind light settings. And so people that enter your parcel will, basically the viewer reads that string that you put in there. The viewer, if I enter your parcel, my viewer will read that string and automatically set my parcel or my wind light settings to what is in that string.
As long as you have the same preset.
As long as I have the preset, and that's going to be a bit of confusion because we are intending in the near future, probably in another minor update down the road, to give users the ability to download other people's presets. And just because you have that preset doesn't mean that all your visitors do. And if your visitor doesn't have the preset, the viewer will simply ignore it, and it will not change the wind light settings at all. So we have a list on that that link that I put up earlier to our wind light documentation page is a list of all the presets that are shipped with the viewer, and the best thing you can do is to use those presets. If you're setting parcel presets, use those presets, because those are the ones that everyone is guaranteed to have. Anything else that you create, custom create, and add to your parcel preset is not guaranteed anyone else is going to have it, and therefore they won't see your parcel the way you think they do.
Okay. We're going to jump back to Chrono's question regarding the export of an avatar skin. His question was, is the exporting of avatar skin fixed yet? Now, just to clarify, Chrono said, it is it's a skin that I made of my own, and when I try to download it to my hard drive, it fails to download. So actually, it was his own creation. So is
I see.
Is there an issue with that?
But as far as I know, we don't support that. We don't have the ability to export skins, I don't think. One thing that might work, though, is if you put the skin, as long as it's yours, put the skin in a cube, and you can export the cube, and that will export the information about that skin to a file, but you won't be able to throw that into Photoshop or anything like that. I'm a little bit confused why you would want to, because if you made the skin, then you would already have the textures on your hard drive. And so you would not need to export it.
Well, in case something happened to the hard drive, I can understand if something happened.
A viewer can export skins, but that's risky, and there's a lot of copybot viewers that do that and steal skins that way, and we don't want to even go near that.
Right. What's nice about Phoenix is it does do as much as is within its control to capabilities of things like that. So that's sort of like a barrier, if you will, something to just protect content creators. So, Chrono, I hope that does answer your question to the best of our abilities. We're going to move on to the next question because we are quickly running out of time. Zamu, who is in the audience, and it's good to see you, asks, will Phoenix have the option in the future to access grids outside of Second Life?
Right, we already do. In fact, it's in the grid manager. I believe it's been a while since I've paid attention to the login page. Is that bad? It's there.
You get the drop down, right? You get the drop down where
you've got the drop down. You can choose what grid, and you can configure. If you have a new grid that isn't on the list, you can add that to the list. We don't officially right now support the viewer in other grids, although the viewer does work in other grids. Sky just asked about InWorlds. I'm told that this release by one of our support people who goes to InWorlds works great in InWorlds. The viewer will work in other grids, some better than others. but we don't actually provide support for them. So if it works on the grid that you're in, then that's great. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. And the challenge with making a viewer work on all these other grids is that we have to develop the viewer specifically for that grid. So on one grid, things work differently than the SL grid, for example. And so we'd have to configure the viewer to work perfectly on that grid. And Prudence is pretty good for their grid. I think they're on OpenSim. There are other viewers out there that are more geared towards OpenSim grids. Our main focus is Second Life right now. However, that may change in the near future. Stay tuned for an announcement.
Woohoo! Stay tuned. Okay, now moving on. Gargravar, Raw, wants to ask what the delay was, and excuse me, I'm taking a few creative liberties with your question, what the delay was with the release of this update. He said first that it was to be out in a few weeks on Sunday, and then updated on Wednesday, and now Friday. Was there something specific that went on there?
Yeah, well, we found a significant bug which had to be fixed, and we fixed it. And we're, in fact, the fourth beta is out now to make sure that we fix that issue. It was an issue that we'd rather not say because it can be, if we bring attention to it, people can discover that, oh, they can do something bad with the viewer. It was something that was pointed out to us by a user, and we've addressed it as soon as we found out about it. It's nothing, major evil, oh my god, or anything like that, but it's enough that we want to make sure that we don't even push boundaries. We don't even come close to pushing. It's everything with Phoenix has to be on par, and it was something that we discovered, and it wasn't on par, so we addressed it, and it's being tested now. So originally the release was set for Wednesday, but because of this bug, we've had to build another beta, and because we won't do a release until it's been beta tested, at least for a day or two, and so this is going to be now beta tested for another day and a half or so. So far, though, the betas have passed with, really good. People are the beta testers. It's the best release so far from pretty much all of them. So we're passing QA very well, and we're sorry for the delay. Incidentally, though, Friday just happens to be exactly 3 months from the day we released our first release. And it's just by coincidence that we end up releasing our flagship viewer exactly 3 months from the time we released our original. Kind of funny how things work out.
Thank you for your question. Okay, we're moving right along to Riku Highfield, who says, I was just looking at the groups, which had to do with Phoenix, and I noticed that Ed's display name showed up as the founder. Is this server-side, or is this somehow going into the 373 build, where our display name shows the creator or founder of groups, and on perhaps even objects that we create in world?
What are they on one of our betas that have display names?
That's a good question. Riku, if you're with us, are you on the beta for Phoenix?
Shouldn't see a display name unless you're on a viewer that supports display names. There really should be no display name.
373.
That's very odd. And no, that's... No, yeah, can you send me a screenshot? I'll take a look at that and talk to you after the office hour. It shouldn't show that at all. Even with display names, it shows the username. Ed Merriman is what it should show.
Yes, Riku means the groups. Absolutely.
Yeah. Ed started that group, if that's the question. Ed and I started it, but I was busy and I asked Ed to start it, so he is actually the founder of that group.
And so, Riku, just to clarify, are you saying that it's showing his display name as the founder or his avatar name?
Is my microphone working?
Okay, it says Mr. Ed, and then in parentheses, Ed.Merriman.
That's very interesting.
So please take a photograph of that, screenshot of that, if you will, and pass it
on
to us.
And send me a photo.
That matter for you. Absolutely. Okay, thank you so much, Riku, for bringing that to our attention. Definitely, they will address that. We have another question from Lastro, who says, will Firestorm have undockable windows, thus allowing people to view the map, edit stuff, etc. outside of the main window?
Oh, good question. There is actually a project out there which we came across not too long ago, and I can't think of the name of it now. They've managed to make undockable windows, and by undockable I mean not just that you can undock the sidebar from the side of the view. I mean you can, if you have two monitors, you can undock it and you can slide it across to your other monitor outside of the viewer itself. Fantastic, really fantastic idea. I mean that would be so amazing. However, it's very buggy still, and we're certainly watching his progress on that. As of right now, no. But yeah, like Kata just said in text here, it's basically done with some hacks, and it has some system requirements that not everybody's going to have. And it's something we'll keep an eye on, but it's not planned. It would be great, wouldn't it? But it's not planned. But neither was display names, and we have display names, so we'll see.
Exactly, so you never know what the future holds. They're full of surprises. Mimi Zabellin would like to know, does the Phoenix Viewer display name option have the same restrictions of the traditional Linden Lab display name option where you can only change it once a week?
Yeah, that's a server-side restriction, and there's nothing we can do about that. You can reset your display name anytime you want. If you've set one and you don't like it, you can hit reset and it'll remove it. But then you still have to wait for a week. It's completely server-side, nothing we can do about that. And glad that we can't, because there's a lot of abuse potential. If you could change your display name anytime you wanted, would make it very easy for people to impersonate you and do bad things using display names a lot easier than having to wait for a week to change it again. So no, you do still have to wait for a week. We have the same restrictions as the Viewer 2 does. The only difference between us and them is that we provide you the ability to see old usernames, like what you guys see right now on version 3.7.3. You see original usernames. You can see usernames and display names, which will be on by default, by the way. When you log into this release, you're going to see usernames and display names. And the username, or I should say in the other order, username on top, or display name on top, username at the bottom. And the username will be jessica.lion. Or you can have it only show display names. So you've got three options that you can go with. If you don't want to see display names, you don't need to. If you want to see both, like I prefer to see both names, you can do that way.
Okay, I hope that answers your question. I'm sorry.
We've also got, and this wasn't covered in my video,
These pictures.
getting them all the time here.
Oh my God.
We've also got, and it's not in the video, but you'll discover it, and I'll just say this quick. If you go into Preferences, with the new release, go into Preferences, and then Tabs, which is a new tab in the Preferences window you'll find. And you can also change the username to a different color than the display name, which also helps you identify a little bit easier. And there's a bunch of other stuff in there.
We have 6 minutes, so I need to hurry.
Oh dear.
Excuse me. Rock would like to know, I am wondering if there's a way for a future option in Preferences or the Communicate window to select which contacts you can see come online or offline to stop from getting so many blue pop-ups at the bottom of the screen when someone logs on or off, sort of like having a priority notifications that certain friends and only knowing when they log on or off. Does that make sense? So sort of like, excuse me, sort of like having the ability to choose which friends you see log in or out. Oh my God.
Are you okay? Those little pop-ups are annoying, eh? I mean, they drive me up the wall. Sadly, no. It's something actually I've wanted to do in the viewer is be able to disable the little online notifications at the bottom right of the screen separate from online notifications in your chat. I'd like to see when someone comes online in my chat, but not with those little pop-ups. They get annoying, especially if you use a HUD down in that section. You can click on that HUD very easily when there's a notification. When you have, I think last time I counted I had about 800 people on my friend list. That little thing is going all the time for me. It never stops. It's constant. In fact, if I wear a HUD, I have to put it above where I would normally have that, that little pop-up, because otherwise I know I won't be able to click my HUD with it there. I would love to get rid of that. I would. In fact, I'll poke the devs about it, but no guarantees.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is unfortunately all the time for questions that we have. If you had questions that didn't get addressed during the show, please feel free to stay after for a few moments, and we will try to get to those as soon as possible. However, with regards to the photographs that you've been sending, we actually thought that they were pretty incredible. So what we're going to do is, Rezzed is actually going to have a Photoshop Jessica contest.
Oh.
With a prize of 5,000
No.
lindens. The contest actually will run until the next episode of the Phoenix Hour. 5,000 lindens is in the prize pot. You can send your submissions to contact at Rezzed.TV.com. Ludi, if you would please put that in the chat for me. 5,000 lindens to send us your best photoshopped picture of Jessica. And we will display them in 2 weeks at the next Phoenix Hour.
The idea was that, so I know who to kick.
We will allow the audience to choose which is the best. So that is our Christmas gift to you from us here at Rezzed.TV, as well as with Jessica. And thank you, Jessica, for joining us. We are thrilled and excited about the upcoming release of the Phoenix. Send them to contact again at Rezzed.TV. Contact at Rezzed.TV, or I'm sorry, Rezzed.TV. Jesus. I'm loving these. I was dying just looking at them. Contact at Rezzed.TV. That's correct, Speeder. So, Jessica, we are looking forward to the next release. And give us again, when should everybody sort of ambush the website to get the new release? And can you please chat the URL at which it will be available, and which they can read all about Phoenix updates?
So, I'll have to type this and talk at the same time here. The expected release date is Friday. I will not say what time, although we do have a time set. I don't want to say what time because everybody's going to go mad crazy, and they'll absolutely crash our website. And http://phoenixviewer.com. I hope I spelled that right. No, I didn't. http://phoenixviewer.com, and I did that wrong again too. You guys know where the website is. I can't type and talk at the same time. And it will be Friday, and I'll say around midday sometime-ish. And expect a bit of craziness. Our support team, by the way, is going to be really, really, really busy for obvious reasons. There's a lot of changes in this, and so there's going to be a lot of questions. A lot of people who haven't been to this office hour have no idea what's coming, and so there's going to be a lot of complaining, a lot of like, oh my gosh, where do I get the viewer and this and that. So if you're looking for support, give them a chance. They're human, and they're going to be very, very, very busy for probably the next 2 weeks after we do this release. And you can also file support tickets through our jira.phoenixviewer.com and choose issue type support.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for the Phoenix Hour this afternoon, or no matter where you are this evening. And Jessica, we will be seeing all of our friends again in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And I'm a bit afraid of this photo contest thing now.
And we are looking forward to that. So please remember, send your submissions to contact at Rezzed.TV. All right, for Rezzed.TV and Jessica, on behalf of the Phoenix Viewer, we are out of here. Everybody have a great week.
Thank you, everyone.